Hello, and welcome back to Sales and Business Growth for Busy Women. I am your resident sales and business nerd, Lindsay Fletcher, and I'm so glad that you've joined me for this episode. I'm just going to dive right into today's topic because this is one of my favorite things to talk about in sales. It's one of my favorite topics. I hope that the info I'm about to share with you will help you in your sales conversations. We, as in you and me, are going to talk about buying styles today and how people make decisions to buy. So, buyer psychology is absolutely fascinating to me, and there is so much to it. But today we're going to hone in on how people make decisions to buy, and I'm going to give you a framework and a worksheet on this so that you can print it, post it, put it in your planner. I'm a paper planner girl, so I would do that. But if you can also save it to your phone and your computer and look back at it, reference it often. It will definitely help you understand your buyers better, and it will help you understand where you are getting off track in these sales conversations and how people really make decisions to buy. So there are 4 main buying styles or decision-making styles. These are categories that people fall into when they are deciding to make a purchase, right? So without further ado, let's get into the good stuff here because I love this topic. Okay, so if you are taking notes, you should go to my website because I'm going to make your life a whole lot easier. Head over to lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources and click on the Buying Styles Guide button. Drop your email and I will send you a link to download the PDF that you can follow along on this episode with. And don't worry, I won't be offended if you hit the pause button, so go do that now. Okay, let's dive in. So something that we hear in sales is that people buy from people they like, know, and trust. And I've actually heard this a lot lately, and so this episode is inspired by this conversation and another one that I'll talk about at the end of the episode. But I want you to really think through that statement, and I'd love to hear from you on whether you think that statement is true, that people buy from people they like, know, and trust, if you think that is fact or fiction, or if it depends sometimes. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So today I'm going to walk you through the 4 major buying styles and how that impacts people and their decisions to buy from you or to not buy from you. I'll let you decide for yourself if this statement is true or not, but after learning about buying styles and applying it to almost all conversations that I have, I no longer believe that statement to be entirely true. And I'll explain that as we go through these 4 buying styles, but people buy from people they like, know, and trust sometimes. So let's get into it. The 4 main buying styles are relators, sympathizers, analyzers, and achievers. Each category's name gives away a lot about who they are as buyers. And there's no right or wrong type of buying style, but rather this is how people internally make decisions to purchase. Now, just to be clear, these are generalizations and there are always going to be exceptions to the rule, so don't come at me if you don't quite fit into one of these categories. But these 4 categories haven't failed me yet, and I do want to point out that these are not personality types. They are how we make decisions to purchase a product or service or buy into a way of thinking. So as I'm going through these, I want you to examine yourself under the lens of these 4 buying styles, and then I want you to identify which buying style you relate to the most, and then if there's a secondary one that kind of fits you as well. Then I want you to start examining the people around you, the people that you know. So maybe that's your spouse, your best friend, your sister, or your brother, or your parents. I'm telling you, this is fascinating, and knowing someone's buying style will, I hate the phrase change the game, but this sucker will change your life. So let's get into it. Let's dive into the buying styles. First up is relators. Now, relators are all about relationships and recognition. They are typically warm and talkative, and they buy from people they like. So number 1, check. Yes, that makes that true, right? That makes that statement true. They want you to know them, and they want to know you. They want to know about your kids. They want to know about your dogs. They want to know what you did on the weekend, and they want you to be interested in those things in them as well. If you're selling to a relator, you need to build rapport and you need to build your relationship with them. Relators can be a little bit impulsive with decisions because they're pretty fast-paced buyers. You'll also describe this category of buyer as personable, outgoing, and oftentimes they are quite the conversationalists. They also love compliments and recognition, and they want to know that they're doing a good job in the process for you and for the people around them. Now, relators as a whole, they don't enjoy making decisions because they're oftentimes people pleasers at heart. They want you to like them, and they may even feel the need to impress you. And because their natural tendency is to worry about what others think of them, they often need help in making decisions, and their indecision may be caused by their reluctance in appearing as though they are rejecting you when in fact they just don't want to buy the thing that you're offering, right? They associate you with the product rather than separating you, and it's not personal. It is personal to them. So to make it easier in the buying process for relators, you'll want to build social proof by sharing how others are loving your product or service. You'll want to share reviews. You'll want to share how others are doing it or have used it or are loving it. Now, one thing to watch out for is that relators can and will use their outgoingness to derail conversations if they want to or need to. They can and will talk about other things to avoid things they don't want to talk about. So that's something to watch out for when you're selling to relators. So to sum it up, relators are all about relationship and recognition. Next up are your sympathizers. Like the relators, they want relationships, but they also crave security. You'll find sympathizers to be warm and friendly. They'll be supportive, emotional, and concerned about others. And sympathizers are slow to make decisions, and you'll need to build trust before asking for the sale. They are people pleasers as well, but more in a sense of they want everyone to be happy, comfortable, and secure with whatever they decide, meaning themselves and their family or themselves and their team. They consider the people around them when they're making buying decisions. Because safety and security is so key for sympathizers, they often avoid decisions and will get caught in what we all call analysis paralysis. They are less motivated by rewards and recognition than relators and more motivated by the reduction of risk. Now, you'll have to walk them through identifying the risks involved for them because they probably won't outright tell you. And then you'll need to remove those risks and give them time and help them recognize their decision to move forward is a safe one. You can also label this group as the rather safe than sorry group. They want you to outline what happens for them when they don't like what they've chosen or it ends up being the wrong decision for them. They want to know what happens after the purchase. So again, sympathizers are all about relationships and security. So they want to like you and they want to feel safe. Okay, moving on to analyzers. Analyzers are all about security and outcomes. However, the security that I'm talking about with analyzers is not the same type of security as sympathizers. Analyzers are just that. They analyze the heck out of decisions, and purchases are no different. They are not emotionally driven when making purchases, so they won't be swayed by your enthusiasm or by your charm. You'd describe analyzers as detail-oriented, they're logical, they are data and fact-driven, and they're often very organized, and they will ask a ton of questions, and then they will do their own research because they will not trust you right away. Their need for security is that they want to make sure that they're making the right decision, and they will research all of the options and read all of the reviews and make sure that they're making the right decision for them so that they get the outcome that they want. So when selling to an analyzer, you'll need to be organized, well-versed, and ready for questions and objections. Because they are logical and very fact-driven, they will question the accuracy of your claims, and they'll really have a hard time not interrupting you if they don't feel that your proof is accurate or well documented. Analyzers make very, very rational decisions. They're very logical again. And once they see this as the right purchase for them, and then you've eliminated the risks, they will move forward. So again, analyzers are outcomes or results and security driven, but not in the same kind of security way as sympathizers. Now, if you have someone that is 100% an analyzer, which is not very often, most of us have at least a little bit of another type of buying style. But if you have someone that is mainly an analyzer, they don't have to like you to buy from you. They really are focused on outcomes and results and security. Okay, then last but not least are your achievers. Now, achievers are recognition and outcome driven. So a little bit like a relator, as in recognition, and a lot like an analyzer, as in outcomes and results. So your achievers are quick to make decisions, and they are results driven. They want to know if it checks the boxes or not. You'll likely describe this group as risk takers and people who will initiate change. They are not afraid of risks, and they are not afraid of change. Achievers want to be direct and to the point, and will often ask questions about doing, like, how do I do this? Or how do you do this? Or they'll ask questions about the actual steps they need to take to get your product or to use it or your service and how to use it. They also have facts and will try to avoid emotions because that slows them down. Emotion makes people stop and check themselves, and achievers like to move forward at lightning speed. Achievers love making decisions and are most often motivated by the results. So if you tell them it's going to do something and it performs that result, they will say yes. You'll want to make sure that you let the decision be theirs. Let them tell you what the benefits will be for them, and they will sell themselves. Remember that they are motivated by benefits that will help them achieve certain results or help them appear in charge. Now, I want to make a differentiation for achievers and analyzers because trusting you and liking you are two different things. If achievers and analyzers don't trust you, they will not buy from you. But achievers and analyzers have to trust you. But if they don't like you, they might still buy your product or your service if it gets them closer to the outcomes that they want. And for analyzers, the security that they need. And for achievers, the recognition that they want and crave, right? So I want to point out here that the statement that people buy from people they like, know, and trust may not necessarily actually be the case. Okay, so those are your 4 buying styles. Now, most people have a combination of 2. Most of the time, they have one dominant buying style with a secondary that kind of splashes in there a little bit. Now, people don't typically have a third buying style, but if they do, it's likely because they've had some sort of education, training, or that may come with a certain type of profession where they've had to learn the third buying style. So you'll notice that many people's professions gravitate towards their buying style, and that's why you'll see a lot of accountants and financial people are analyzers, and you'll see lots of nurses as sympathizers and analyzers. And again, these are generalizations, and not every nurse or not every accountant is going to fall into the buying styles that I just mentioned, but it can be an indicator, which is pretty cool. Now, this whole episode was inspired by a friend who also happens to own multiple businesses, and we nerd out on business conversations regularly. And we were talking about buying styles, and it turns out that we have the same combination of buying styles. We are both achievers and relators. However, she is more relator than I am. I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples that we talked about in our conversation because I find this so interesting. So, for example, when we would be both selling a house, we both agreed that we don't need to like the real estate agent that we choose to sell our house. If we believe that you're going to get it done the fastest with the most money at closing, we will sign with you. However, for something like lip gloss or something that she's going to have to purchase, she has to like you, and I don't have to. I don't have to like you, but I want to like you. So we analyzed why, and here's where we landed. She wants to like you because she's probably going to buy that lip gloss again if she likes it or if she loves it. And she wants to like whoever it is she's buying products or services that are repetitive, because she'll have to talk to you more than once and she'll have to interact with you more than once if she wants another lip gloss in the future or another, I don't know, pest control service, right? And on the flip side, I don't need to like you for something like lip gloss, and I'm not going to spend the time finding someone else that sells the same lip gloss just so I enjoy the buying process from you. I do want to like you, and if I like you, it makes it that much easier for me to buy from you, but I don't have to like you. So I'd say like I'm 5% relator and 95% achiever, and she's probably, I don't know, 30 to 40% relator and 50 to 60% achiever. I don't know. There's no way of knowing that exact number, but there are people who have the same buying styles but prefer certain things a certain way, right? Now, when it comes to like my husband, for example, when he makes a purchase, he is your classic analyzer. He will research all of the options and make sure that the one that he's going to choose checks the boxes of what he needs and it does the things it's supposed to, but he's also going to make sure that he's exhausted all of the other options on the market. So he's outcomes driven, but wants the security that he's purchasing the best option, whereas I just want to get it done and over with. And if it checks the boxes as an achiever, I'm moving forward. Now, if you've downloaded my buying styles guide, you'll see that I have the styles laid out in a pie chart. And the more you analyze your own buying style and others' buying styles, you'll notice that there are certain types of buyers that you just don't click with as easily. And you'll start identifying that a lot of the people that you're not clicking with as easily are on the opposite side of the pie. These are typically the opposite of how you make decisions as a buyer. And so for me, as an achiever, for example, sympathizers tend to be the hardest for me to sell to because they're slow in making decisions and I'm fast paced. Our natural tendency is to sell in our own buying style. But when you start asking questions and learning more about your customers and presenting offers in your customers' buying style, you'll see that your revenue will increase because you'll connect with them better. You'll understand your customers' wants and needs better. And at the end of the day, it is so much easier to close the sale when you have communicated effectively with your customers. And that's what these buying styles do, is they allow you to identify and understand how these people make decisions, and then you can present the information that you need to relay to them in a way that makes sense for them. So for example, for a sympathizer, I'm going to ask what kinds of risks are involved for them, who needs to be in the conversation for them to make a decision, right? I'm going to eliminate some of the risks right away. But for a relator, for example, I'm going to build rapport and relationship with them and then make sure that they're going to get the recognition and tell them that they're doing a good job along the way. So I have some homework for you because I really want you to use this. I want you to figure out your own buying style first, and then I want you to start figuring out your customers' buying styles. Look at your current customer list. And if you're just starting out as a new business and you don't have customers yet, start identifying family members and friends and talk to them about how they make decisions. And look, this takes practice. This is not going to be an overnight $1 million success story, right? This is going to take practice, but this will open up conversations in a way that you wouldn't believe once you get the hang of it and once you start presenting information and asking the right questions in their buying style. That's why I created this free downloadable PDF for you, because I want you to save it to your computer. I want you to post it on your wall, put it in your planner or your Bible or your car or your wallet, wherever you go. I want you to reference this often. Seriously, the more you study this and you go back to it, the easier it gets and the better you'll be at sales. So go to my website and download the Buying Styles Guide. You can go to lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources and click on the Buying Styles Guide button to get your free copy. I'm not kidding when I tell you this is one of the secret sauces in sales. When you understand your customer and how they make decisions, you can present your offer in a way that makes sense for them. and communication will be so much more effective and so much easier for you. And that's my goal with this podcast. My goal with this podcast is to make your life easier in sales conversations and in building and growing your business and managing your time so that you can squeeze more out of your day and pay attention to the things that matter the most. So I hope you'll go download my free buying styles guide. Again, you can go to lindsayfletcher.co/free-resources. You are welcome to hit reply to any of my emails if you're already on my email list. Hit reply and ask away. I am here to support you. I'm here to help you. I want to see you succeed and I want to see you thriving. So I'm praying for you. I'm praying for your business, and I will talk to you next time.